Have they put name? Adebolajo Michael. Oh, you should buy it.
There'll be a lot of restrictions of being in the I'll present this to you officially. So, Odofin, Michael. Okay. And once we hear an opportunity, where is the other one? Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Comrade. Right back to see. Thank you so much. Okay, use this one.
Use this one after you. Let me take it.
That's right.
Students that are studying.
Travel ban, so many restrictions.
Michael Adewale.
But funny enough, after the Mutala thing, one thought the Americans would really give us tough time. They never did, but they gave more visas and all.
What they did yesterday and exactly why.
Rice. Yes, I was eating.
Nice, enjoy it.
Ms. Amal Pepple, the Commissioner for Physical Planning, Urban Development, Lagos State, Town Planner Odofin Ayodele. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to this program. We will kick off this program with the national anthem. Please, would we stand and take the national anthem? National anthem, please. While we keep on standing, may we take the group that are right, the truth to know,
in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice reign.
Thank you very much. Can we take our seats? Round of applause. Ms. Pepple does not need long introduction because I think there is no one here that has not had something to do with her, especially if you were in the public service. I want to say that the minister has had a long relationship with Lagos State and this part of the world, University of Ife, where she made a first class in political science. Ms. Pepple also started a long and glittering career in the service, in the public service from Lagos State, where she rose to the highest level in the civil service as head of service. And I want to inform you that because of the passion she has for urban development and shelter, Ms. Pepple was last month elected as the president of the Governing Council of the 24th session of World Habitat. Can we give her a round of applause? So it is not surprising that she has the dream to restore Festac town to its glory. The Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development for Lagos State, Sir. We also have the SA, the Managing Director and Chief Executive, Steve Agemade. You are welcome, sir. The Chairman, Amuwo, Odofin local government, Comrade Ayodele Adewale.
I will not be talking to the speech because we indeed have a very lengthy speech, but again, we'll cut short and give the Honorable Minister our own paper. But again, I must quickly note that we are indeed blessed to have our local government situated in Festac town. Festac is a blessing to Nigeria. It's the most planned estate, if I'm not too wrong, in the whole of Black Africa. And indeed, for some decades now, we've been having great challenges in Festac. And this, of course, we all know what is happening. I will not be bothering myself to try to dialect too much on the subject matter. I will leave that to the resident association as it concerns us directly. But as local authority here, we have also tried as much as possible in the past 4 years to redevelop what we met. We met a condition where almost all the roads were not passable. We met a condition where insecurity was at its highest point. And of course, so many infrastructures were almost coming to nothing. And we met a situation where many of our drainages were silted up. And when we try to ask questions, please stop sharing that paper, please stop sharing it. And when we try to ask questions why were all these things happening, we got to understand the fact that we had several cases in court. One against the federal government, and the second one against the Lagos State government. I've been trying as much as possible to make sure that these cases are withdrawn from court, and we come back to a negotiation table where issues can be put to the fourth burner, and of course try to resolve in them. And that also we took to the government of Lagos State through the office of the Chief of Staff, and we also came back to compel on the residents that a very peaceful resolution will take us forward. But I will do a disservice if I don't thank some certain people from the FHA who have been very, very mature about this issue, and of course from the side of the Resident Association. I want to thank Mr. Folawolabi, though he's not here seated. He has tried his best within the challenges on ground to making sure that things actually move forward appropriately. And we have been very, very good partners in progress. And I also thank Mr. Agemade, because I did travel to Abuja to also acquaint him with the facts on ground, and before I even sat down, he quickly welcomed me and threw the issues all on the table and solutions to many of these issues. And of course, he promised that very soon we'll be having a town hall meeting that have come to light today. So I want to thank you for that, sir. And of course, the Resident Association also, I want to thank you so much for your magnanimity in keeping the estate together, in making sure there is peace, in making sure that we do not go into full-fledged protest and civil disobedience. But again, you must understand that government cannot do it alone without its people. The people itself are the fulcrum of government, and they are the tripod that carry governance on its shoulder. And there is no estate where service charges are not paid. There is no estate where social responsibilities are not committed by people living in that estate. But it is our belief today that we'll come to a compromise that will move our community forward. I thank everybody for coming, and God bless us all.
Representative of the Governor of Lagos State to please give his address. The Commissioner for Physical Planning.
Request to stand on the protocols as set by the compere of this program. Now, when we got the letter of invitation for this program, the impression was that it was to meet with a committee, and probably that didn't suggest that we will be making speeches here. But be that as it may, let me just say a few things to establish first that man is the dominant object in everything that government does. And in thinking of human settlements, man also remains the dominant object, which is why there is need for planning. Now, we make plans so that we can follow them. You can't plan, a child can't plan to be a medical doctor, and then when it is time for him to choose his subjects in the secondary school for WAEC exams, he chooses history, Yoruba, Islamic religious studies, literature, Christian religious studies. He's definitely not going to be a medical doctor. So if he intends to be one, then he goes along those subjects that will lead him to get to be a medical doctor. And it's the same thing that we plan for our lives as human beings. The same way we plan for the environments we live in. I recollect when I was in school, planning school, when the plan of Festac was fresh, 1976-77, and we saw a town that was supposed to have 7 residential communities in about 3 phases. It looked like a dream. But the question we should ask ourselves today is if we have followed the plan. And I think that is why we are seated here today. If you don't follow a plan, along the line, you will observe that there will be some disconnect. Now, planning means order. You want to create order so that you won't be jumping from one place to the other. Now, order means to organize. Now, someone said, if you do not organize, you will agonize. So it's the simple truth. So if there are plans and we are not following, we will end up agonizing. And for every plan to be fulfilled, to achieve its dreams, there is implementation. With every implementation, there is maintenance. Maintenance bears some costs. You don't buy a vehicle and forget the maintenance. Who buys the fuel? Who changes the tires? Who replaces the parts that are lost? That's how even a city must operate, which is why I'm sure we're gathered here to rehabilitate, to bring back the glories of Festac. And I hope it won't be difficult when we have to cut off some cancerous parts, when we have to discover some uses that were not planned initially. Although we must recognize that as at the time that Festac was planned, Lagos was less than 2 million people. Now we have 21.2 million plus. And those people will still find places to live in. And one of those places will be Festac. So probably there is need for a review of what Festac was. But whatever the situation must be, I guess we have started right, having a stakeholders forum where we can meet and air our views. And I can only hope that this will bring something well and something of improvement to Festac Town. Thank you very much.
Set to listen to the Honorable Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, and it is now my honor and pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister to give a keynote address. Honorable Minister, can we please give
the representative of the governor of Lagos State, the chairman of this local government area, the MD, and I see one of our traditional rulers. My dear sisters and brothers of Festac town, first of all, I would like to apologize that I kept shifting this meeting. You know, when twice I fixed it, I couldn't come because I had other engagements which I had to attend. Yesterday, I had to take permission when we were in Federal Executive Council from the President for me to come, but I have cancelled this meeting twice, and I didn't want to do it a third time. So I hope you accept I understand the situation that caused me to cancel it. I was here at the end of September last year because Mr. President sent me, because of the various complaints he has had about the deplorable state of Festac town. That used to be a pride, like the commissioner said, it was a pride, and everybody was happy about this Festac town. When I got back, I made a report to him about what I saw. I didn't want to send my staff to come and make a report to me. I wanted to see things for myself so that when I'm reporting or discussing it, I know that I am speaking from knowledge that I have about the estate. And I saw that there were problems. There were lots of illegal structures, kiosks, and all sorts of things that had been built. I was also told about what was this? The buffer zone. I saw it also, and I just want to read the prayers I made to Mr. President. I told him that at least the FHA had tried to do some of the roads to restore the water system, but we had a big problem about the sewage system. And I also was informed that there are some dues that you are expected to pay, but when they demand for it, people go to court. In the estate where I live in Abuja, in fact, is reputed to be one of the best estates in the city. At the start, we had 25 houses, but right now there are little more people living there, and each of us contributes 10,000 naira a month. We employed an estate manager, we employed 2 gardeners to clean the estate. There are policemen at the gate, but we also employed some private security men to join the policemen. So everywhere that you go, you live in an estate like that there's an obligation that the residents have to meet, like you have a resident association. So what I asked President, that he should approve the convening of a meeting between the Ministry, the Federal Housing Authority, Lagos State Government, Amuwo Odofin Local Government Area, and the Residents Association to resolve the jurisdictional conflict and physical planning control, the issue of payment of ground rent, as well as sourcing partners to resuscitate the sewage system. Of course, I had told him the water had been done and all that. Approve the restoration of Festac town to its original status by reintroducing, enforcing the terms and conditions in the original contract of sale of the houses to residents, and approve the application of the terms and conditions in the original contract of sale of Festac houses to all the federal housing authorities estates nationwide. And I will briefly just read some parts of the lease agreement. I believe all of you were given it when their houses were allocated to you. When I finish speaking, the MD will also raise quite a few issues. First is the fact that the lease shall be subject to the payment of an annual ground rent, which shall be determined. Rent revision, that is the ground rent, at the end will be revised at the end of the first 10 years and thereafter at 20 yearly intervals. The period of amortization shall be 25 years, 22 years after the 3 years trial period. The occupier lessee will be fully responsible for the maintenance of the property occupied at all times in the manner from the time to be specified by the Federal Housing Authority. The occupier lessee shall be ejected at any time if he fails to meet the standard of hygiene, sanitation, maintenance required on the estate, and all previous payments will be forfeited and the house shall revert to the Federal Housing Authority. The occupier lessee shall not use nor permit the use of any building or buildings on the premises otherwise than for residential purpose only. B, shall not permit upon the premises any act or thing which shall be or may become a nuisance, damage, annoyance, or inconvenience to the authority or to the occupier. Shall not to make any alterations, additions, developments, etc., whatsoever to the housing units and its curtilage within the initial 3-year trial period and thereafter this period without the prior written consent of the Federal Housing Authority. The occupier lessee shall refrain from building sheds, kiosks, market stalls, displaying of tables or other structures for trading purposes, etc. in the building, its curtilage, and generally in any part wheresoever in the estate. He will be responsible for all charges for water and electricity consumed in the premises, and be responsible for all rates and charges levied by the state or local authorities in respect of the housing units. These are some of your responsibilities. I'm sure the MD will talk about a lot more when he comes. So I hope that at the end of the briefing, we'll decide what we are going to pay, because I don't want to come back. I am also going to make a report to my boss who sent me here, the President, Dr. Ayodele Adewale. I'll make a report to him about what we have agreed on. We have to agree on what we pay monthly for the maintenance We will also set up a committee that will manage the funds. We are not the ones going to manage it. In our estate, it's our estate manager that manages the fund. We have the treasurer, she collects the money and she gives to the estate manager who manages the fund. None of us interferes with that. So this is like a family meeting because we want to ensure that Festac town is brought back to its former glory. So I will invite the MD FHA to come and speak, and then thereafter we can now discuss and come to a decision. Thank you very much for your attention.
The Honorable Minister, Lands, Housing and Urban Development, may I seek your permission to stand on the existing protocol. Festac has come of age, and of course it will be 36 years today when Festac was first established. These years have characteristically brought to the residents and the entire nation the benefits and also the challenges associated with the benefits. The challenges have of recent assumed a worrisome dimension, which has drawn the attention of the President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ayodele Jonathan, GCON, GCFR, who directed an immediate and formal visit by the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Ms. Amal Pepple, CFR, to Festac town. Now this visit took place here, on the 27th of September last year. The President thereafter approved the recommendations made by the Honorable Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development for a total restoration of Festac town to its past glory. Now today, all of us are being stakeholders and shall be deliberating on issues bordering on jurisdictional conflict, on physical planning, development control, planning of ground rents, including other levies and maintenance of Festac town as it were. I'm happy the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Development, Lagos State, is here representing the Executive Governor, Lagos State. Now I'm delighted to observe that the challenges facing Festac town, which at its inception was known as Little London, have been a concern to all stakeholders. Now, a few weeks earlier, I received a comprehensive memo from the erudite chairman of Odofin local government, Comrade Ayodele Adewale, on the insecurity of Festac town and the need to fortify the entry and the exit into the estate. Now, this is a clear-cut demonstration of the willingness of the various stakeholders to cooperate towards achieving the restoration of Festac town. The security of residents is a concern to us, and we think this is a useful meeting for us to deliberate on issues concerning the security of residents as well. Now please permit me at this point to comment on the efforts of the chairman who has recorded tremendous progress in the areas of road rehabilitation, construction, and environmental sanitation of the estate. I also wish to acknowledge the level of cooperation that exists between the Lagos State government and the Federal Housing Authority. In this regard, I recall with immense joy the meeting that took place between the officials of the Federal Housing Authority in Lagos and the officials of the Ministry of Physical Planning in April 2013, this year. Now let me also recall the meeting in 2010 for which a joint committee was set up at the instance of His Excellency Governor of Lagos State, Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN, to resolve some gray areas existing between the authority and the Lagos State government, with particular reference to the National Housing Program sites in Lagos State. That report is being waited for, and the conclusions and the resolutions of that meeting are still being awaited from the council. And we believe that very soon we shall be striking a balance on some of the things that were actually creating some differences between the Lagos State government and Federal Housing Authority in some of these estates. Honorable Minister Ma, I crave your indulgence to mention some of the ongoing efforts by the authority to tackle some of these challenges.
Please, just give me 1 second. Is there a Mr. Ayodele Adewale here or his family?
I think he's resident in Abuja.
But he has a house here. Because this lease agreement was signed by him on the 8th of June 1977. This is a copy of what he signed.
Yeah.
So I'm sure all of you have a copy. Sorry, I wanted just to make that point, that I didn't just pull out this agreement to read. It was given to everybody who was allocated a house here.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I think all the residents of Festac town are very much aware of the excerpts of the agreement that you read out, because every one of them has the agreement and the conditions of sales of all the houses in Festac with them. So it is not a new thing to them that you have extracted out. So I think they are all aware of that. Thank you very much, Mike. Now, may I crave your indulgence to mention some few ongoing efforts by the Federal Housing Authority to tackle some of the challenges being faced by Festac residents recently. Now, in terms of water supply, for quite some time after the glory of Festac had gone, water supply became a historical thing. The system got broken down, there was no water for quite some number of years. And residents were facing challenges about water supply. Most of them went into drilling boreholes in their homes and the rest of them. Now, it became a big concern to Federal Housing Authority, and we went into partnership with a company called Copila. And Copila has come into Festac to try to rehabilitate the water supply system. This we were trying to also do alongside with the water board of the Lagos State government to ensure that we resuscitate that water supply system and bring water to the residents. Today, I'm happy, Honorable Minister, to tell you that substantial rehabilitation of this water works has been done, and water is available, to some of the residents in the estates. But unfortunately, most residents are not willing, to tap into this water system, for the mere fact that maybe most of them have drilled their boreholes in their homes, and they have raw water that they use, and so they don't very much care about the potable water, the refined and purified potable water that Copila is giving now, that is better and more healthier for their living. And so we are there trying to rehabilitate this for the whole estate, and taking it face by face. But unfortunately, the residents are not willing to tap into this system. It's unfortunate, but I hope that soon the awareness will reach every one of them, and they will see the need, to be supplied with potable water instead of the raw water they use from their boreholes. In terms of the roads, of course, the roads had gone down in dilapidated situations over the years since they were asphalted roads. Now, it had been our concern as well, the concern of the local government, Odofin, and the chairman has been doing very well, as I've earlier mentioned, in rehabilitating some of the roads. Now, on our own part, Federal Housing Authority has also taken up the 4th Avenue to rehabilitate it, and 4th Avenue is now properly rehabilitated and well asphalted. And we intended that we would take these roads phase by phase, you know, depending on the resources available to Federal Housing Authority. Since, you know, for over 11 years now, we have been removed from the federal budget. So our purse is very slim, and so we normally prioritize our projects and we phase them so that we will not run into hitches of abandonment. And so we are facing the rehabilitation of the roads. And that is why we had, first of all, taken the 4th Avenue to be able to work on. The system of the sewage system has been a very, very major problem, Honorable Minister. The sewage system has broken down for quite a number of years. And we had taken a tour and an analysis of the water system, the sewer system, to see how possible it may be to rehabilitate the broken down sewer. But unfortunately, the cost of even cleaning up the broken down sewer system has been so enormous. You know, at one time we had an 8 billion naira cost of having to rehabilitate the sewer system. We made our papers to the government, and we solicited for the use of what do you call it? This fund, the ecological fund. I beg your pardon, ecological fund, to be able to utilize part of it to rehabilitate the sewage system. But we have not gotten that positive response up to date. But we are still pressurizing government to see the best way, you know, to resuscitate that sewer system. And incidentally, we have found out that there are even better sewer systems based on modern technology than what was established something years ago in Festac. But what we see today is a broken down sewage system where you find the sewer flowing the streets, you know, emitting on the street and flowing in gutters, which has become very unhealthy condition in the estate, which is a very worrisome situation to us. And we are constantly pleading with government to come to our aid to be able to rehabilitate this sewage system. Nonetheless, the residents also have not helped matters a lot because of the use at which you know, the sewer system itself has been put. Most of the pumping stations, you know, were overtaken by illegal occupants. You know, they run mechanic workshops in them. You know, all kinds of solids are dropped into the sewer system to, you know, to block it, and so nothing flows. And of course, the sewer has caked in the pipes, you know, for a long time now, and so nothing flows. The treatment plant, which is way out in the satellite town there, still lies in shambles. And we have also analyzed that and seen the best way that it can be resuscitated. But we believe that with modern technology, I think a better system can be utilized for this. We want to make mention of a few things that are very, very worrisome. You know, in those agreements that were signed with residents of Festac, everything about maintenance of the estate has been listed there. And in fact, it's a comprehensive document. They have earlier talked about overcrowding in these houses as well. Specific number of people to live in specific house types were enumerated in these conditions of sales. And it was expected that the residents would keep to this occupancy rate. But unfortunately, what we see today, maybe because of the blown off population, you know, all homes in Festac have been highly overcrowded. And you know, the problems associated with overcrowding are there because the use of the facilities, you know, is always multiplying. And of course, the waste will also multiply, and the damage will also multiply. So many things will multiply in the negative. And so today we have a lot of problems, you know, associated with overcrowding. In the same agreement and conditions of sales, we had maintenance, you know, on occupier basis. You see, everything was enumerated in that agreement, including the use of public spaces, the use of green areas, the lawns, the roads, the walkways, parking, you know, and everything has been enumerated in this agreement, including the use of gardens and open air for parties and all that. Today, you find that, you know, vehicles are just littered everywhere on walkways, on roads, you know, in gardens, in open spaces. They block roads for Owambes and all kinds of things, you know, happening around the premises. People continue changing the use of their homes into commercial shops, you know, and in the past, it was prohibited for someone to use his residence as a shop or to use his residence for commercial basis. But today you have shops springing up in all residences, you know, along the road, particularly those ones that are downstairs or those ones that are single houses or maybe duplexes. They convert their garages into shops and all that. In other cases, they have extensions, you know, illegal extensions of their homes without approvals. And they extend and they build shops, you know, of all kinds of things and wares. You know, so you find all kinds of markets springing up on the streets of Festac. It was prohibited for, you know, vehicles of more than 3 tons to ply the roads of Festac. Today, you know, all kinds of vehicles ply the streets of Festac. Trailers, you know, and what have you. Some of them which are owned by residents. And you find out that when you overload the roads, of course they will damage. And that's the reason why we have damaged roads and potholes everywhere. You know, and vehicles are littered everywhere, you know, and some of them are you know, out of use, but they just dump them everywhere, you know, around the premises. And these are the things that are very worrisome to us. You know, the workshops, you know, were prohibited. There were specific areas for workshops. Today, you find workshops everywhere, like I have mentioned. Some of our pumping stations of the sewage system have become workshops of people, illegally. You know, and we are really worried about all these illegal developments that are taking place in Festac. You know, our houses, the facades are so dirty, you know, not very unkempt. Nobody cares about painting. Nobody cares about cleaning. You know, someone strips his house and throws it on the staircase. It's no man's land on the staircase, for instance. You know, you have areas of television, you know, littered everywhere around the roofs. You know, sometimes they damage the roofing sheets because everybody is trying to put a television area. But I believe that these days modern technology has made television areas very effective. That a small television area that's kept on top of your television in your room can still receive good images. But if you go around Festac, you see how every block of flats has over, you know, tens and tens of area spreaded over all the roofing, you know, and damaging the roofing. And when the roof is damaged, it starts leaking, and it leaks into their houses or leaks onto the corridor. Yet they still expect that government should come and repair all these leaking, you know, roofs and the rest of them. Now some residents, because of lack of water, they keep water tanks on the balconies of their houses, and they fill these water tanks with water. Now these balconies are not supposed to take water tanks on them. You are overloading you know, the balconies. Now, in addition to overloading the balconies, the water tanks leak, and they leak into the cracks, you know, that rust the reinforcement into the balconies, because what the balconies are cantilevers. I'm very sorry, Honorable Minister. This has been very worrisome because it happened in Gowan Estate where one of the slabs of the balcony fell over and killed about 3 children. Now, it was blamed on Federal Housing Authority. But meanwhile, what actually caused this damage was the leaking water tank that rusted the ions, you know, of the reinforcement, and then broke off the slab, which constitutes the balustrade, and then it fell over kids that were playing downstairs. It's unfortunate, you know, a situation. But this is what we find ourselves doing today. You know, overloading the balconies with water tanks and, you know, and leakages everywhere that, you know, cause damages to, you know, to the houses. So the use to which we are putting these houses is actually what is really damaging and making Festac what it is today. And I think it is a good thing that we are having this stakeholders meeting, you know, to interact with one another and to see the best ways of, you know, of putting a stop to some of these illegal practices so that we could have a better living environment. I have mentioned about blocking of roads, footpath closes and open spaces. You know, change of use was prohibited. Before you have a change of use, you must have to apply for approvals to be able to change the use, you know, of your house. But today, what we find is that people continue just making changes on their own without recourse to the Federal Housing Authority. In that agreement, you know, there were even control of display of advertisement, you know, boarding. Today, you find homes, you know, or block of flats with all kinds of billboards on them, because businesses are run in the residence, and therefore they put, you know, what do you call it, signboards of all kinds of advertisement, you know, on their homes. Offensive trading was prohibited. To create nuisances for other residents was prohibited, you know, and all those things that could cause the discomfort of other residents were all taken care of in the conditions of sales. In fact, including pets. You know, residents were not supposed to allow pets to be wandering the streets. Now, if pets were seen, they were to be arrested, you know, and taken away. So if your goat, you know, trespasses, you know, anywhere wrongly, your goat could be turned into pepper soup anywhere, you know, without recourse to you, you know, and the rest of it, you know. But you know, people do not care about this, and now we have, you know, pets moving all around the estate and then waste collecting everywhere. We have tried, Mr. Ma, you know, to in the subleases that we have to give to residents. We try to bring out some of these conditions into these subleases. Now, I have a sample of a sublease for all the homes here. Because we have a root title on Festac, it's not every resident that could have a title on his or her own residence. And so it behoves on the Federal Housing Authority to issue subleases to all the residents. And this is a sample sublease of a housing unit. Now, this sublease has certain conditions, you know, that were pulled out of that agreement. In addition to the earlier agreements that were given, the subleases also have these conditions attached to it. But you see, the residents still do not honor these conditions as they appear in the subleases. We have subleases for land, pieces of land that were located alongside with the resident because of site and services. You know, all the conditions that are relevant to subleases of land, you know, are also included in the sublease. But what we find today is that when we try to enforce some of these conditions and rules, what we find is litigation, injunction in court. And Federal Housing Authority has many a times, being restricted by injunctions, that are normally imposed on the authority, by residents or by some people, who have the favor of courts with them. So, we have become hamstrung, to come to aid, on some of the maintenance of some of these aspects. And so maintenance fees cannot be imposed, on the residents anymore. You have complaints of, okay, we are pensioners, we don't collect salary again, but then the house belongs to you. So how do you expect it to be maintained? You see, no, it is not our business, to do the nitty-gritty of maintenance of the homes that belong to private individuals. And when we ask for money from government, we are told that, okay, the houses are all being sold. So what has government to benefit from there if they don't go to, to repair houses for people? This is the thing. But we are trying our possible best, to do the skeletal services of the infrastructure that concerns the whole estate. Roads, water, and sewage, as that it may be shortly from now. So, Honorable Mr. Ma, I just want to make mention of a few of these things. In conclusion, the terms and conditions of use are highlighted to recast our minds to the agreement previously assented to by residents, and to see also the extent of violation leading to the current deplorable state of Festac town. They are for reawakening the residents for the responsibility of maintaining their residence, and with the view of collective restoration of Festac to its past glory. Once again, I welcome all of you to this stakeholders meeting and look forward for a fruitful development and discussion. Thank you. Thank you.
Listening to the next speaker, and it is my pleasure of Festac Towns Residents Association, our own Comrade Ayodele Adewale. Please.
That's from the traditional background, KBC, Kadepelori, Honorable Minister, my chairman, the representative of the governor of Lagos State, my MD, and all my executive and organize. You agonize. What is happening in Festac today is failure to plan and organize. With listing, I want everybody to listen very carefully. Both the statements is a statement from the government side. There are a lot of that statement that shoot out of the roof, and we have to debunk them. First, the problem we have in Festac started with the removal of AB and the movement of the FHA headquarters to Abuja, when the authority closed their eyes to things that is happening in Festac. 2004, we took our case to the Honorable Minister then, Chief Mrs. Oshoma, and we reached an agreement how to rehabilitate Festac. We have a 5-phase agreement with the FHA to rehabilitate Festac. And we listed all the areas of problem which FHA has to attack to be able to rehabilitate Festac. We started. The first phase was carried out. We removed 2,886 containers in Festac. Out of these containers get to Festac. People who brought the containers to Festac are not resident in Festac. We complained before they brought the containers to Festac. But because the authority closed their eyes and connived with the people bringing them, this was possible. Now, the 5th phase was to attack the kiosks, corner shops, rehabilitation of roads, removal of all the illegal structures.
But we only tried only one when Ibrahim was removed. After the Ibrahim departure, that is the MD then, subsequent leaders at the FHA headquarters pay no attention to Festac. Now we keep on complaining. If I brought out the file of our letters either to the presidency, to the minister, or to the MD, you will be astonished. But let me just recast a few things that necessarily have to be done. During your visit, your Honorable Minister, when you were here on 20th of September last year, you asked us to submit to you our update, our feeling. We sent this also to your office. Now, we mentioned in those issues the roads. We have listed here number of roads that are bad. I will give it to the MD, we will see it, because we cannot, there are more than 20 roads that are bad in Festac. I must say this, we must thank very, very sincerely the chairman of the local government. If there's any road that is passable in Festac, it was through his effort. 21 road, 21 road, part of 7th Avenue, 512, at a time, 512 was a gotch. In fact, where you have good road in 4th Avenue, is it the part repaired by the local government, not the part repaired by the FHA. The part repaired by the FHA today, if you go there, that's why I have requested that you must go on top. It is already a ditch. You get there, you see that there's nothing has been done. The areas that we are requesting for activities in Festac are the following areas. One, we need connection road between here and Abule Ado. Abule Ado is not seen as part of Festac because subsequent authorities of FHA have paid no attention to that. We only, in fact, there's a great danger. I have to call my chairman when there's a heavy rain about 3 weeks ago. The people were cut off completely because there's only one road leading to Abule Ado from Badagry Express Road. They were completely cut off after the rain. Thanks to the chairman, he mobilized with my people in Abule Ado. His captain here. Yes, sir. Yes. They have to mobilize to rehabilitate. That is why they are still able to come out. There's in the planning of this place, there's about 2 connections to that place. These have not been done. Festac was planned to be 7 communities. The first 3 communities were in phase 1, and that is community 1, 2, 3. That was supposed to house about 111,000 people. Today, we have a population of 1.3 million in Festac. When the MD was saying that there were people or houses were being occupied by large families, you don't expect somebody who was here single when he occupied a house 36 years ago to still remain single. So if it's the only one occupying a flat of 1 bedroom there, if he's married now, you will expect that at least it will have been about 3 or 4 in that place. Now I've mentioned connection with Abule Ado. There's also the need to connect even the second phase with 6th Avenue. 6th Avenue, 201, Lagos State was here. You see, these are politics of crisis we suffer in Festac. Lagos State was here to build a bridge at 42 Road across to 6th Avenue because of the politics of the country. The government, the federal government chased them away, seized their materials. Today, that bridge is still there. 2004, we did a cost with the FHA. As at that time, we were told that that bridge will cost about 240 million. Today, I don't know what it will cost. We are passing through that place with canoe. We have written letter on that. We photographed that place, that bridge should be built so that people will be safe. Well, good enough, the Honorable Minister, both Honorable Minister and the MD mentioned the removal of chaos. It's one of the most important things because it's part phase 2 of our agreement in 2004, the removal of chaos. They are still there. They are growing. We've been making reports to your office here about the growing nature of chaos. Some 10 by 12 originally is now a house. Some are even now residents. In so many places, we made reports. Letters, documents are submitted to your office there that were not attended to. Well, guest houses, hotel and guest houses in closes. You are reading the rule to us. The rules gave us certain things we do not do. We try to keep to them. Right now, myself and my vice president have been charged to court by somebody using a house which was permitted by your authority. Of this thing happening. In the by and large, we are charged to court. We are in 2 cases on that, even in B Close 23 Road. That case is there. Then we have severally written asking for urban renewal of Festac. At a time, you send your town planning from Abuja to go on tour with us when we discuss about urban renewal. We visited places. We told them, some of us do travel outside. And seeing what is going on in other countries abroad. We go around and see where we can remove and rebuild in some other areas to make Festac what it should be. But since then, this is about 4 years ago, nothing has been done. We talk of mechanics. Let me quickly mention why we are in court against you in many of these areas. 1993, we went to court against FHA. It is because we discovered that FHA has totally neglected Festac. And what were our demands in the court? First, you should not build in open spaces. All the open spaces which we believe are playing ground for our children are being sold by your authority, and building was springing up in all these places. Secondly, we said you do not touch the buffer zone, which we believe is a protective green belt for us, and that's why we're in court. 2005, we reached an agreement from the court, what we called consent judgment. My colleagues, who's the chairman of allottees of buffer zone, we submit a paper to you on this. We have, that's Mr. Kole Olatunji is here. We submit a paper to you on the agreement we reached on buffer zone. The mechanisms in buffer zone are necessary evil there. We ask them to move from the main resident area to buffer zone under that agreement, subject to your fulfilling your own aspect of that agreement, which says that the site here shall be residential, the site facing Badagry shall be commercial. In between, there will be an 18 meters wide canal, and this will be planted with trees to provide windbreakers and oxygen for us. We have been expecting that this will be done since 2005. Nothing has been done. That is why the mechanics are still there. The same thing goes with the issue of market in second gate. Provisions were made in your planning for these places in second phase at 6th Avenue, but nothing has been done to transfer them to them. That is why they are there, and they become a very dangerous phases in that place. Swage. Well, you have mentioned Swage. About 4 years ago, somebody from United Nations Habitat came here. We discussed, we planned, we did a cost that this thing will cost about 12 billion. That's what he said, to rehabilitate the swage system. But what happened? We expect that the FHA will write to the ecological fund. When we didn't do it, we did on our own, wrote to the presidency. We brought Gowon here because of that issue. Gowon was here for the 30th anniversary, and we know, intervene on our behalf, spoke to the presidency that something could be done about the swage system because he saw it and he was not happy. Water, well,
where's the money from the ecological fund?
Well, we don't, because you see, when it's something for somebody to intervene on our behalf, the pressure to make it happen should come from you. We told your office in one of our letters that if you need us protesting, carrying placards from here to the presidency in Aso Rock, we are ready to do it. But unfortunately, well, you can't encourage that. Yeah, you are a woman, I like that.
I'm a responsible Nigerian and an officer of the government.
Yeah, that's why you can't do it. But in order to help us, we are ready to even do whatever is necessary to get what is. The ecological fund to be sent to all of us. Now, water. The issue of water must be proactively approached. I thank the MD and Mr. Owolabi for what they have been doing. It's a pity that this time when Owolabi would have been much needed, it's being removed from Festac. It's unfortunate. On issue of water, we've been meeting with Kupila, but the area they have served is very little, and they need, we've written a letter that they still need about 3 or 4 places where they have to build mini water works to be able to serve Festac. The one they have in 22 Road cannot serve all of us now. It will only serve a part of Festac. The few areas they have covered, people, contrary to the view you may have about 3 weeks ago, people are now hooking up to that water, and they have seen the need to buy into it, and they are doing it. It is no longer a story that people are not interested. People are interested. I can tell you of today that people are interested and they are hooking up. But the areas where they even are anxious to have it, you have not extended to those areas. The houses.
Money, Baba. All these things you are saying, it needs money. I'm listening to you, but
maybe when we finish,
none of you are staying your ground.
We will come to that, madam. I'm going to all those items you have mentioned in your letter. I'm going to all the areas you have mentioned in your letter. We will talk of money. The parks, we have mentioned parks, and we have requested that all the parks, at least we have written about 4 letters on that, that all the parks in the estate will be handed over to the FTRA to maintain. We will clear them, we will do whatever we can do to make them with the local government, because the concept government is very clear about it. I see my chairman shaking his head. You will know why we are saying so. Let me explain. It is a clear issue. We contest it with anybody. I was detained, stripped naked, with 6 others, including women, because of our fight to rehabilitate parks in Festac. FHA has sold some of these parks. 206 Park was sold to Ms. Tumba for 30 million. She was to build a 5-star hotel there. When we made protest, we were detained. 3 of my members there died as a result of their protest there. We are saying we do not have authority on this part. Why are we fighting? And the court consent judgment give us that authority. Besides that, the minister then on revocation of that, give a directive. We have a letter to that effect written by your office that the status quo remain, that it will maintain the past. That's why we are asking that, send the past. If we want to be in an alliance with the local government, we will do so. But let us have the past. Grant rent. Yeah, demand notices for grant rent. We were trying to protect your interests when we went to court against Lagos State on land use charge. Because our intention is that by the agreement we signed with FHA, we have to pay grant rent. Grant rent and land use charge is the same thing. It's a question of semantics. We are ready to pay grant rent because even the land use charge, the Land Use Act, gave us your estate the right to collect grant rent, while the state cannot collect from us land use charge where we are in federal government if we are going to pay grant rent. But your people are not sending demand notices to us. And good enough, the agreement says after 10 years it's subject to review. We wrote them asking for a meeting to review the issue of grant rent. Once you are in a place, I'm talking legal now, I'm not a lawyer, but I know lawyers are here. Once you are in a place for 10 years, before a decision is taken on you again, you must be part of that decision. You cannot just stay in your office and review the grant rate. We must be partners. We will sit down. If you say you are proposing 20,000 as grant rent for my house, and I said, look, you are receiving it from 5,000 to 20,000. Why? Let's discuss. Let's find the middle of the way. That is what the purpose of our meeting. That is not it. We are written, and that was not done. Nothing was done from your office. So we are ready. My members will be ready to pay reasonable grant rate when we have sat down and discussed these issues. Well, the issue of land use charge, my chairman mentioned it. I'm happy, now that we are against Lagos State, not that we cannot go out of court, but one thing in practice is that the man who went to court has a reason for going to court. If you want to negotiate, it's not the man who will say, let's negotiate. You will ask him, let's sit down and negotiate. If the issue of negotiation comes from Lagos State and we sat down, we will sit down and discuss. But we are not going to be the one to say, let's negotiate. When we do that, we are speaking from a weak point. American president said, don't fail to negotiate, but don't negotiate out of fear. We are not going to negotiate out of fear. We are ready to negotiate. Where it is that afterward, the land use charge, the concept government was negotiated after 10 years. Security. Well, in the last 21 days, Festac has been invaded, and for that reason, we have written letter through Olabi to the MD, talking of security. With there's a night, myself and the chairman, we couldn't sleep because rubber here, rubber there, and so on. And yes, I'm running up. Let's see, these issues we have here is very important. The issue of security is very important. It's pinned to the road, to the gates. Since 2011, people have started building from your office. MD, listen, from your office. First gate and third gate. The contracts have been awarded privately since 2011. That place is very full. In fact, I don't know what has happened. In the olden days, those gates are very, very good for security. We close third gate, we use only first gate, and that is where we are able to maintain security. But there's nothing to close now, because what we are building there has lasted for about 4 years, and nothing was done. So finally, we want to thank the minister for coming and thank the MD. But the MD, these people, when it comes to you, I made some requests there, and I hope you will attend to it. We thank you. But one thing I want to say as a round-off is that this sitting cannot discuss and agree on the rate to be paid. Because whatever we are saying here, we are talking for a population of 1.3 million. Those of us that are here representing the 1.3 million, we are only 7. That is my secretary, my vice president, and 8, and 5 leaders of the 5 existing committees. Before we can sign an agreement with anybody, we must go back to our people. So whatever you have as suggestion for us on grant rent and your readiness to distribute bills, we will discuss it. We are ready to pay for maintenance. In fact, we have made suggestions to this effect in 3 communications, one to the Honorable Minister, one to the President, and one to the MD, that we to have a meeting for maintenance. When the former chairman of the board came here, we gave them a paper, and they agreed that about 60% of whatever is collected in Festac will be plowed back to Festac for maintenance. But it has not been done, and it's about 3 years now. So, Honorable Minister, we thank you for coming. MD, we thank you for coming. But would have said you are a Daniel coming to judgment here, but we have to sit down properly and reassess. I refer to the statement of my Oga, the Minister of Planning, representing my governor, that when you fail to plan, organize, you antagonize. Thank you very much.
I want to thank Comrade Ayodele for articulating the position of
to go like this before I make my point. I think government exists for citizens, and citizens exist because they have created a government, and so they need to support that government. I am afraid that we are not seizing the best of the opportunity this forum has given to us today. Trading blames, laying of the bog will not help the matter at all. And I'm not too sure that's the objective for convoking this meeting. If we want to say what happened, who did what didn't do, what happened, what did not happen, we won't move forward. And so I will crave the indulgence of all parties seated here, especially the Landlords Association or the residents of the festival town, that since all tiers of government that exist by constitution of the Federal Republic, that is the federal government, the state government, and the local government, have deemed it fit to say we must revamp Festival Town. I think you must light on that opportunity. It's not the time to start throwing bugs and throwing badges. They haven't done this, they have done that, they haven't done this. I need to quickly clear that. Because in all that you said, at the end of the day, you did not show us the way forward. All we had were tons and tons of things that were not done or they failed to do. Now, you also spoke about you being on a vantage position, having gone to court to challenge some of the rates we are charging and jurisdiction of charge. First and foremost, let me lay a foundation. There is no magic wand that will give you development in any area if you do not pay your taxes and levies. The only way and means governments, any type of government, the local government, the federal government, the state government, will give back to you is when you have given back to that government. It comes under two premises. In the advanced world, they call it a social contract. When you give the mandate to a government to come and rule over you, it beholds a responsibility on you to support that government through the payment of taxes. And those are strong weapons even in advanced climes. In jurisdictions where you have people, taxation can lead to life jail or levies if you fail to do them. Now, you talked about you coming to negotiate on the land use charge or the ground rent and things like that because you are in court and you do not, and you quoted a professor in England who said you don't negotiate from a weak position. I totally agree with you. But the honest truth, and very clearly so, sir, is that you will never and you can never negotiate the law that has been passed by the House of Assembly of Lagos State Government. It's a law. And if you live in Lagos State Government, you are compelled to live under that law. There is what we call the land use charge. It cannot be negotiated. You have taken us to court. We are in court. We are on an appellate level. But all this, what it will mean is that if you do not respond by paying your charges, what you will continue to find is that Festival Town within Lagos State will be within Lagos State, and all other parts surrounding Festival Town in Lagos will be developing, and they will leave Festival Town behind. The best thing to do is to join in, and just like every other person outside the Festival Town will pay their charges, join in, pay your charges, and enjoy this. Now, there is a Supreme Court judgment of 2003, which has given jurisdiction to Lagos State government to levy such charges within this estate. Now, this cannot be a village meeting, sir. I have the floor from the chairman of the session, and I'm speaking. You can't be speaking back to me, sir. I beg of you, sir. Thank you, sir. I respect you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now, all this can be done, will never be done, except the citizens make up their mind to say, now we are all seeing that Festac is going into decay, and we need to revamp it. And that initiative has come, and we're at that point where we need to. So what will be your obligation or your responsibility or duty towards the revampment of Festac Town? What will be that of the federal government? What will be that of the state government? And what will be that of the local government? Let's get a communique, put it as action points, put deadline on it, and let's start kicking. Rather than throwing up blames or banters and saying, you do this, I didn't do this, or you throw this away, I will come and negotiate. There is no superiority. We are all one and the same. And we are not unmindful of the fact that government exists for the citizens. You are employers. But, you know, my position in conclusion is that except we collaborate, we may not be able to move forward. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Advisor, for that contribution session. Festival Association. Like the advisor was saying, we didn't come here to banter, to come and tell me that somebody got a house when he was not married. And we have not said he shouldn't procreate, like the Bible says, go into the world and multiply. Because there are a number of persons that have been fixed for each type of residence. 1 bedroom, 5, 2 bedroom, 7, 3 bedroom, 10. But we also know our environment because we have an extended family. Nobody has come to your house to come and check how many people are living there. And nobody had asked you not to procreate and multiply your family. But if we come and check, we have people that have shared their house in 3 bedrooms. They have rented 2 of the houses to different people, and those people they are raising their own families. Let's be realistic. I know it happens. I live in this country. I am Nigerian. So don't come here and talk to us as if we are asking you when you marry, stay childless for the rest of your life. Nobody says that the house must be occupied by the number of persons to which the house we are located. You also raised the issue of people, you are not paying ground rent because FHA had not demanded. But he had told me on occasions that they demanded, you have taken injunction that they should stop them. And let me give you my own example. I have a house in Abuja. Recently, they don't send money to demand ground rent. Victor, you are here. You are the one who went and paid. But every year, they put they put a penalty, and you have to pay the penalty. After 2 years, they didn't send, 3 years, I sent my MP, I said, please, go to Aegis and tell them to let me know how much ground rent I'm owing. That is what a good citizen does. All the things we are asking FHA to do, government to do, all of them need money. Urban renewal needs money. Are we also the ones to bring the money to even to paint your houses? Whatever you want done, the roads, FHA MD has told you that he's not on the budget. So where is he going to? Is it from the tax that I am paying that he will bring money to come and do the repairs that are necessary here? When I came last year, September, the water had been done, but many of you refused to hook on to it or to pay, even when you have hooked on. I'm happy now that you are telling us that some people have already taken over the houses. You have accused FHA of so many crimes, that they are collecting money to allow people to build kiosks. They even sold land for 30 million. It was the parks that was sold for 30 million. So many things you have accused FHA of. I want the MD to comment on those. And then, if you have the facts, give it to us. We will investigate and find out those who are conniving and collecting money from people to allow them to run brothels, like you put it, converting the use of their houses to different things. We shall investigate. We shall set up a task force that will go and remove those things that they have put illegally, because maybe people don't like this kind of dialogue that we are having with you. The President sent us here, and we are all here. The governor has sent 2 of his officers to come and meet with us. The chairman is here. We didn't come here for us to be blame. And you have not taken one single blame for not carrying out your responsibilities as a citizen of this country. MD.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I want to also appreciate the essay on taxation to the governor of Lagos State for his remarks. I actually was going into mentioning the way forward, but I had spoken at length, and I was warned that I was taking too much time, and so I withdrew for a while. And since this is an interactive session, I believe that issues of way forward will certainly come out. And so I am happy that I'm once again permitted by the Honourable Minister to speak. I would want to suggest some way forward. But before I do so, I want to make this comment that I, standing here as the present Managing Director and Chief Executive of Federal Housing Authority, I'm the 22nd MD of Federal Housing Authority in the last 40 years. So you can imagine the turnover of administration that had taken place in the authority. Some of these things that are being mentioned about were some things that happened even earlier than some of us came on board. But I want to say that we have an office in Festac town here, 21 Road, 8 Close. We have actually rehabilitated, we built a new office and recently moved into the new office. It's a 2-story structure. It actually was supposed to be commissioned by the Honourable Minister, but we are yet to commission it. But the office is there, standing at 8 Close, 21 Road, and it is open to all Festac residents. We have the largest zonal office in Lagos, despite the fact that Federal Housing Authority moved away from Lagos to Abuja. We still have our offices in Lagos here, covering all aspects of management, of estates, and even development. So there is no reason why, if anybody has any problem with Federal Housing Authority, that will not move into 21 Road A close and lay the complaint. And in fact, this is where we administer Festac from our Lagos office here in Festac. And therefore, I would suggest that for some of those complaints, I think we have men on ground here, the zonal manager, with the galaxy of other staff below him, covering issues of project, estate, management services, and finance. And so I expect that for any complaint, we will quickly attend to it. Now, we are here now as all stakeholders for this meeting that has been convened at the instance of the Honourable Minister, maybe directed by Mr. President. Now, it is for us to identify and agree on the services and the functions of each of us as seated here. The responsibility of residents, I have tried to reel them out, from the agreement that they have signed, to become residents of the estate, some of which, I have mentioned, but there are many more, and every resident has, those responsibilities itemized, both in the agreement and in the sub-leases that they have gotten on each of the buildings. Now, I don't need to go into all those responsibilities anymore. And our own responsibilities, our own part, it is also to look after the infrastructure, that is common to the whole estate. And this is where I also mentioned, that we are trying and making frantic efforts with the assistance of the chairman, local government, Odofin, to see that the road are rehabilitated. And we are making mention of other infrastructure, like water, that we have also, also trying to revamp the water supply. The sewage system, we are certainly going to also do something about it. I'm sure the government will soon come to our aid for that. So after defining the services that we are supposed to be responsible for, I expect that we will define the functions, the obligations, and the penalties that are supposed to go alongside with violation. Because if we do not identify the responsibilities and the penalties that will go alongside with the violation, then of course there will still be breakdown of law and order. And people will still be nonchalant about their responsibilities. And we, on our own part, are trying to make sure, that we bring back the glory of Festac as much as possible. Like the tearing down of the illegal structures that were developed before. I'm happy that the chairman of Residents Association has also confessed that we pulled out about 2,800 containers that were littered all over the Festac. We are still going to do a lot more because they are not finished. Many of them are still hanging. But the extension of homes. Right.
Address the fact. Did you collect money or any of your staff? Are you aware?
Well, in
you
any
collected
case,
money and allowed them. You said they connived.
The connivance that the chairman must have mentioned about must have been earlier than my advent to my position now. During my time, I have not been party to any collection of anybody.
Not money.
So I'm not aware of such, illegal deals. But nonetheless, we are still going to maintain the open spaces, the gardens as they were, because we know that some of the residents that are usurping.
30 million for the park. Are you aware?
No, I'm not aware of anybody collecting 30 million for any park. And I must say this openly here, that I'm not aware of that. That may have been earlier than my aspect. Yes, sir. So he has said that this even before I became MD. So I'm happy about that. But nonetheless, we are going to look into the case if brought before us. And then we have to also identify the source of revenue, you know, to be able to carry out some of these responsibilities. And I think this is the apex of the way forward. Where is the funds coming from? How are we going to generate the revenue, you know, to be able to carry out some of these rehabilitations? And I think since it is an interactive session, I would stop here, and then maybe we can hear from some other persons also to see the best way, you know, that we can move forward from here. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
I'm sure some of them are owned the residents who are here. So when they start removing them, don't blame anybody, because the planning that the commissioner is talking about is not just planning your life or planning anything. It's also planning your environment. If you don't plan your environment, you will get into trouble, because you yourself will feel the adverse effects of not planning your environment. Commissioner, I don't know whether you would like to comment on that, but I'm pleading with you to take up this responsibility, and you work with us and work with the local government area and the FHA. We have a task force that we use in Lagos, and it's headed by a general. I don't want to release him on Festac, because we may not like it. So I want to hand over to a civilian who will organize it.
Well, Honorable Minister, let me say that by the June 2003 Supreme Court judgment, issues of development control and fiscal planning really are within the purview of the state. But we also recognize some organized estates like Festac, where there is supposed to be a management organization on ground, and necessarily they have to work with us. I want to recall that a few months ago now, I think about March, there was a report from FHA on some infractions in a Baja, and they wrote to us, and our men moved in and made the enforcement. And I don't think Festac will have any lesser experience, because really Festac is also part of Lagos. And I think one of the things to do is to ask FHA to represent the master plan of Festac, and let's take an inventory and see what it was supposed to be, what it is now, and let's look at the gap and see how to bring sanity back to Festac. I hope along with this clap, when it is time to fund that project, we will all be willing to do that.
Yeah, we have a structure.
So thank you for accepting to take up the issue of the physical planning, the task force for physical planning, when FHA would have presented the original plan of Festac Town. FHA. And all these things, I'm giving you just 7 days to present the original plan. You should have it to the commissioner. Okay, that's not too short for you. I hope you have taken these details. To review the tenement rate. Oh, Kábíyèsí, sorry. Má bínú sà. Mi mọ̀ pé ti wọlé. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sà. A fẹ́ kẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ díẹ̀. Kábíyèsí. We are talking about the way forward and
have the second phase of Festac phase 2 in my domain. So I have to bring this to the notice of the Honorable Minister and the MD Festac. Ableado is one of the indigenous community there. It's been there for years. And I'm the paramount ruler there. Honorable Minister, just of recent, we have a serious problem in our domain. What's the problem? There was, whenever there's a rainy season, our road is just in a mess. Nobody can pass it. We'll be cut away entirely from the other communities. Because what? Ado town has only one road, one exit. And if anything happened, used to be dangerous, we can't go out, we can't go anywhere. I have to thank the Honorable Chairman, the Executive Chairman of Amuwo. When the last rain fell, it was terrible. Nobody can go out. I started sending text message from my house. I have to thank him so much. He responded immediately. He came there. He was there from morning till night. And before we can be able to move on. You see, so I am now appealing seriously to the Honorable Minister to please give us a second road that will connect Festac, because Ado town is just very close for the Festac. It is the second phase of Festac. Nobody even believes that Ado town is part of Festac. We all are aware of the accusation that was made in 1973, and as the paramount ruler, we did maintain that we give our necessary support to Federal Housing Authority. If there is any law breakout, in fact, it won't be to my knowledge. And I will not hesitate to tell the authority to take any necessary step. So I am appealing seriously to the minister, the Honorable, the MD, to please come to our aid. This year's rain, according to the information going around, the land is going to be very much, and we don't know where we are going to be. So please, kindly come to our aid to open a second route, connecting Festac. So that will give us a very big relief. And since you have been here, I don't know whether you will extend your authority to my place, at least to see what is happening on. I will be very happy. No problem, Honorable Minister. Thank you. I don't think I have to go more than this. We have chairman of Amuwo of the local government very close to us. And if anything happens, we connect immediately. It has no anything to talk about. It has no alternative than to come. Otherwise, we won't stop shouting on his name. Thank you, Honorable Mr. May God bless.
We'll head that committee for us. And I want to appeal, you will give us somebody. And the maintenance charge. So you will chair it for us. Please, thank you for accepting. You give us somebody, or will you accept? No, I will go to them. Mr. Bola Shodipo is the chairman. Then the chairman of Amuwo local government area will be there. Resident Association, you will give us we take two representatives from your own end on this ground rent, land use charge and maintenance charge. Can you give me the two names now, please?
But if I give now, Engineer Adewale and Mr. Okolo. Engineer Okolo and Engineer Adewale. Okolo.
What's his first name?
Anthony. And then Bayo Adewale. Bayo Adewale.
Yes, you know we are doing Festac phase 2. So the development, I'm sure they will do your road. I will tell them. You will give me your number, so I will give him. He will phone you and come and see you. Thank you, sir. For the review of ground rent, land use charge and maintenance charge, Mr. Bola Shodiko, the advisor to the governor on taxation and revenue, is the chairman. The chairman of this local government area, and he will take one or two of his staff. The FHA will be represented by Mr. Dauda Baloga, and the Residents Association will be represented by Engineer Anthony Okolo and Mr. Bayo Adewale. You didn't say so when you gave me his name.
I said so.
You did not. And then for the development control, I also need people from you. I need 2 people from you. We are giving you lion share for all the representation, so that you will not say we did not consult you. So everybody has one, even the FHA has one. You have 2. We will also bring one person from the ministry.
Development control, I put Mr. Kole Olatunji.
Mr. Kole
Olatunji, and I will be there myself.
Olatunji. Olatunji, kí lorúkọ yín, Mr. President?
Comrade Ayodele Adewale.
Jola Ogolusi. Comrade lèmi náà. We are just putting the names, but after the FH, 1 rep from the ministry. Yeah, these are reps of residents. For the ground rents.
Zalera continue.
Yes.
That is, let me people on the task force on physical planning. The commissioner for physical planning, Lagos State, is the chairman. Then the local government will be represented. Are we in one meeting, please? Will be represented by the council manager, Mr. Shegun Ajayi. We also have from the residents, Mr. Kole Olatunji and Mr. Jola, Comrade Jola Ogundusi, the presidents. Then we have a planning officer from the ministry, Mr. Lawal Abubakar. We also have another planning officer from the FHA, Aisha Onotu from FHA. Then I'm going to add Mr. General Mohammed to that group to make it up. Then the committee for review of ground rent, land use charge, and maintenance charge. Mr. Bola Shodipo is chairing, the advisor, the chairman of this local government area. Then we have from FHA, Mr. Dauda Balogun, Mr. Dedayo Ojeyemi, Engineer Anthony Okolo, and Engineer Bayo Adebowale representing the residents. Then I will add one representative from the ministry, somebody with a finance background. I have to consult my director of finance and accounts. So that's it. I don't know if No, we have already put names. They have given me, FH has given me 2 names. Mr. Shodipo has assured me that they can finish their work in 2 weeks. And for the task force for physical planning, which is like a continuous project, however, the FHA will give them the original physical plan. He will provide it to the commissioner, and he assures me that within a month they will have the report for us, and then we can continue from there. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak. I can allow 1 or 2 people to speak, then we will adjourn. Yes.
You said that according to the announcement, the development of the second phase of Festac, I'd be very grateful if, as you said, that the contractor will.
I have told you, I don't say what I will not do. Don't have any fear.
Thank you. I want to just chip in this little, it's not a little.
We talk in private because this one doesn't concern what we're doing. I will talk to you later.
It's in respect of armed robbery in our area.
That I don't know.
Yes.
You can discuss that privately.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Otunga Kole Olatunji, and to especially thank the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for initiating the move for the first time in a very long time, where the 3 tiers of government will be coming together to work out the modalities towards the revitalization of Festac town. I have been living here for well over 3 decades, precisely 34 years ago, and I believe, to the best of my knowledge, I'm in a position to at least give a very detailed definition of the situation here in Festac. At the same time, I am the president of the buffer zone allottees, the land that was acquired over 22 years ago, and I am also a signatory to the consent judgment which was initiated by the Federal Housing Authority, the Resident Station, and the allottees precisely 8 years ago. And of course, since then, we've been making all efforts humanly possible to ensure that we embark on a coordinated development of this area in line with the consent judgment. In actual fact, precisely on the 7th of May, I tried to get in contact with the Honorable Minister, and I actually sent a message or contacted a friend in Abuja who sent me his mail with the hope of booking an appointment on our behalf with the Honorable Minister. But unfortunately, this young man, Mr. Larry Shoebo, dropped dead at the synod, and I pray his soul rest in peace. So when I got here today and I was made to understand that the Honorable Minister is here, I had to quickly get in touch with our Secretariat to roll out a copy of a presentation I have made here today. One has been given to the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of FHA, Architect Gemade, and I have equally given a copy to the President of Resident Station, who was equally instrumental to the consent judgment. And of course, thank God, the copy I requested for is right here with me. Though it has not been enveloped, I want to crave the indulgence of the Honorable Minister to just present it as it were. And I sincerely hope and believe by the time you go to all you need to know about the buffer zone, and I government, but to all the residents association. And like the taxation man has rightly pointed out, we should be seen to be working together. We cannot afford to look backward. We need to move forward so that we can achieve progress. And I want to once again thank the Honorable Minister for
here in front of our housing minister, and it is my special joy to note that she is a woman. I'm going to be empowerment of women, and I can say that I am very pleased at their ability to work together. It also makes me happy that she is in charge of homes. If there is anything that is going to live in Festac, praise God. I am a resident of Festac town. I am a Niger wife also. I am married to an Igbo man. My name is Pastor Sandra Honora. In Festac, we have had, as they have mentioned, many things like illegal structures. It touches me personally on property that we are having for an NGO that is called Handstead Care. There is an illegal building. I hope it will disappear. But we are also facing robberies. We are facing other things. I also think that there is a lack of awareness, and we need people to work together, to have representatives in the area. There are many people who don't even know that there is a mini waterworks on 22nd Road. They don't know. Why should they go to a place they don't know about? And then in the area where I live, there is no mini waterworks. So I can pray that things will get better, and I'm very happy for this step today.
What way forward? We have set up 2 committees. I'll give you 1 minute.
I stand on existing protocols. I want to state categorically, my name is Dr. Alex Edo. Number 1, Festac residents are not criminals. We are ready to pay taxes. Before the coming of the current Amuwo local government, Festac town was a dog with 2 masters and was virtually abandoned. I am not ready to come and start to sing praises of the current chairman who took the bull by the horn. I want to state that Lagos State land use charge. I may be wrong, but this is a case of a landlord. Landlord rents a house to Mr. A. Mr. A sublets to Mr. B. The landlord has no right to come to Mr. B. He has to hold Mr. A. You collect your C of O payments, sir, from the residents. How do you collect it? Do you come to us? No. The answer is no. You collect it through the FHA. Please, sir, we are ready to pay these taxes because without taxes being paid, although we know all over the world, most people don't want to pay taxes, we are ready to pay taxes. Please, sir, we are appealing that you reach an agreement with the FHA. If the FHA is going to build up a little more to the ground rents in order for you to get what is due to you, we are going to pay. Number 2, There are people who have their allocated lands in Adewale Adewale, but now people have put illegal structures there, they cannot talk. Then I want the FHA Festac towns is not enabled. They are handicapped. It's like to send a man to the farm, no hoe, no cutlass, nothing, and you want him to go and make ridges. It's impossible. So, sir, I will stop so far because the minister has given me only 1 hour. So, otherwise, so thank you very much.
Àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba chairman wa director gbogbo yín pátá ní kábàámọ̀ lójú òní tiwa o a máa lọrí a máa bọrí o a ní tí sọfín ayé o a ní kábàámọ̀ àwọn ọmọ wa o àwọn náà ní kábàámọ̀ wa o Ọlọ́run ní fàárẹ̀ ṣe wá o ní agbára Ọlọ́run bó ṣe máa rí ni mo wí yẹn tó.
I want to thank the governor of Lagos State for sending his commissioner fiscal planning to be with us and his advisor on taxation and revenue. All of us spoke, FHA spoke, the residents spoke. So what we have done, we've set up 2 committees. One committee on fiscal planning chaired by the commissioner of fiscal planning in Lagos State, and we have representatives of the residents, the FHA, and the ministry, our members, and the local government area as well. Then the other committee is the one to look at the ground rent, maintenance rates, and things like that. That is chaired by the advisor to the governor of Lagos State on taxation and revenue, and we have representatives from all the groups who were at the meeting. They too will look at the ground rent and things like that, because what they are asking for, they want roads to be that to be done, 1,000 things they want done. Those things cost money, and as responsible citizens, I expect them to give something so that they will also get something from government, because government doesn't have a bottomless pit of money that they will spend for everything. We as citizens have to do our own bit by contributing, paying what we are supposed to pay to the government. We lose a lot of money because people don't meet their obligations as citizens to the country, and one way is to pay your taxes so that the government will have more revenue to do the things that all of us want the government to do. So we've set up these 2 committees. The one on the ground rent, we gave them 2 weeks to conclude and make a recommendation on what we should charge. And then the one for fiscal planning, which is a continuous thing. You keep planning an environment. When you look at it again, you can plan. They will, I hope they will remove all the illegal structures around Festac town. We want to bring Festac town back to its glory. We have given them 4 weeks, 1 month, to come up with some form of report. I'm sure maybe the commissioner will give you more details.
My question is in